Welcome to 5 Minute Bible, your daily guide for your daily reading. Today's April the 24th, and we'll be looking at Psalms 43 through 45, 49, 84 through 85, and 87. Now, yesterday we traced the line generation after generation, God preserving his people and his promise. And today we're going to hear the voice of that people, because these Psalms move us from names on a page to hearts in motion, from lineage to longing, from covenant identity to covenant experience. Psalms 43 through 45, 49, 84 through 85, and 87 are going to gather the voices of God's people from different moments, but they all are singing the same reality. God is bringing his people into his presence under the reign of his king, and that future is already shaping how they live in the moment. And in that way, Psalm 43 begins with longing, a cry to be led back into God's presence where joy is restored and darkness pushed back. Psalm 44 deepens that tension. The people remember God's past victories, and yet their present feels like defeat. Faith isn't absent, but it's also being stretched. Then Psalm 45 breaks in with a vision of the king, majestic and righteous and enduring, not merely a human ruler, but one whose throne points beyond itself to a greater king. Psalm 49 cuts through the illusion. Wealth and status and power, none of it can redeem a soul. Death levels every false refuge. And then from there, we get the vision lifted in Psalm 84, which is burning with desire for God's dwelling place. Psalm 85 looks ahead to the restoration where righteousness and peace are going to meet again. And then Psalm 87 widens the horizon, declaring that even the nations will be counted as citizens of Zion. The movement itself is unmistakable. These Psalms are moving from longing to tension, to clarity, to hope, to global glory. So as you read today, I want you to ask the following question. What are we ultimately building our life around? Because these Psalms are constantly pulling our attention away from temporary anchors and fixing it on God, his promises, his presence, and his king. The thread running through all of these Psalms is this tension between what is felt now and what is coming later. There is confusion, there is affliction, there's undeniable reality that the world does not yet look the way that it should. There's evil in the world. There's problems and trials and pain. Of course, there's many tears. But Psalm 44 refuses to ignore that. Psalm 49 exposes how easily we grasp after that, but that's not where the story ends. Into that tension comes a cleaner and a clearer vision. A king who reigns in righteousness, a dwelling place that satisfies more than our deepest longings, a restoration where what is broken is going to be made whole, in a city that will not remain small or isolated, but will be filled with people from every tribe and tongue and nation. The present is real. The pain is real. The evil going on around us is real, but it's not the final word. And these Psalms train the heart to live forward, anchored not in what we see, but in what God has promised to accomplish. And all of this finds its fulfillment in Jesus Christ. Psalm 45 is not ultimately about an earthly king. It finds its true meaning in him whose throne is forever and whose reign is perfectly righteous. Psalm 49 declares that wealth cannot redeem. Why? Because Christ is the only answer and the only ransom that could ever pay off our debt. Psalm 84's longing for God's presence is fulfilled in Jesus, who brings his people near, not temporarily, but permanently. Psalm 85's vision of righteousness and peace meeting is realized at the cross, where justice is satisfied and mercy is secured, and the two are intermingled in perfect harmony. Psalm 87's vision of the nations becoming citizens of Zion is now unfolding and has been unfolding for the last 2,000 years throughout church history, as Christ gathers a people from every tribe, tongue, and nation from all four corners of the earth to be citizens of his new kingdom. None of this is a distant hope. It is a present advancing reality. The king has come. The kingdom is growing like leaven in the lump. And the world is being brought under his rule, little by little, lifetime by lifetime, century by century. So as you read these Psalms today, I want you to notice how they stretch your vision beyond what is right in front of your eyes right now and what you can see today to tomorrow, where we're going to continue forward and watch how these realities begin to take shape in the life of the kingdom. And with that, read your Bible carefully, devotionally, and joyfully, and may the Lord use His word to sanctify you completely, and we will continue our journey tomorrow. God bless you.